I'm going to find out if Cataclean can really clean a catalytic converter. What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Von Panda out here with my Porsche Cayenne, and I actually just got a check engine light on. So, I was driving my Cayenne here, and I want to show you that the lights come on a little bit, but that check engine light is staying on. I also need an oil change, but that's really not the issue today. And I thought, well, maybe it's related to that check engine light that I had on before. So I pulled the code, and it's P0430, I believe. And it's basically saying that the O2 sensor is showing low efficiency from the catalytic converter. So what that means is that my catalytic converter is not doing what we'd expect. Now, take a look at the mileage here, 73,000 miles. I definitely have seen catalytic converters last longer than that, but I definitely think that depending on how you drive, the gasoline that you use, the size of your engine, those types of things, that can lead to buildup of carbon on the catalytic converter, which means the catalyst on the catalytic converter is not doing its thing to kind of reduce the amount of emissions that you're putting out. So I have seen a few different hacks to get the catalytic converter working again. Obviously, the easiest thing is to remove it, put in a brand new one, but since catalytic converters can be anywhere from a few $100 to $1,000 or more, and if you have multiple catalytic converters, it can be very, very expensive. Drink if you hear me use the word catalytic converter in this video. But basically, a lot of people would like to try to get a cheaper fix. Now, just cleaning off the catalytic converter can actually make it work again, because what you're doing is you're exposing the catalyst on the little honeycomb in the converter to work again. So, one, I have seen people put lacquer thinner into their gas tanks and run it through there, and I guess that lacquer thinner will eat off the carbon. Now, I personally didn't want to do that because that seemed a little extreme, and it seems like I could hurt my engine and stuff like that, but I don't know, people are doing it. The other thing I've seen people do is take out the catalytic converter and clean it out with lacquer thinner, clean it out with other solvents, and put it back in. The problem here is that my catalytic converters are not super easy to take out. So taking them out seems like, well, why don't I just get new ones and put them in? It seems like actually the labor is just as expensive as the part on this. But what I did find is that there's a product called Cataclean, which you can pour into your gas tank like a fuel additive and let it run through the exhaust, and that is supposed to help clean out the catalytic converter. So as opposed to going for a very expensive repair right away, I thought, why not try the Cataclean? What do I have to lose? Give that a shot. I'm on my way to the auto store now to pick it up, and then I will show you the process of using it, and then we'll drive it around and see if it actually turns off this check engine light. Good grief. I always feel like I complain about this car not getting good gas mileage, but I have been driving it around every day to run errands, and now I just drove around listening to podcasts to try to get it below a quarter tank so that I could add this Cataclean, and it looks like I am finally at the quarter tank. Now, I will say that it's barely just a quarter tank, but I think you want to get it down to its last 4 gallons, ideally, for the amount of concentration that it needs to actually clean the catalytic converter. So I'm going to go ahead and add the Cataclean now, and then we have to drive it around for a dozen or so miles under kind of normal high load, that kind of thing, just to kind of get that detergent on the catalytic converter, and then you want to fill up your gas tank again. So let's get the Cataclean in. All right, so I'm about to add it here. It says to drive normally for 10 to 15 miles afterwards and refuel. So I am now officially pouring in what I think is a bottle of very low expectations. I am really not expecting this to clean my cat. But if it does, that'd be pretty awesome. But I'm definitely not tapping my catalytic converter budget for Star Trek collectibles yet. Okay, I showed up to the gas station. I didn't plan to be super precise. I actually put on 19 miles using the Cataclean, and now we've got to fill up the gas tank again and just drive it around like normal. I think my plan will be to just drive it around and see what the light does. I don't think it'll actually go off on its own. I think in a couple days I'll have to just reset it, and then I'm curious if it'll come back on again. So now we wait. All right, guys, so I just filled up the gas tank, and I think anytime you start up the car, it goes through that check engine light cycle, and I tell you what, my check engine light is off. So what? Dude, that is crazy. I mean, I just looked down because I was assuming that it would still stay on. So that Cataclean did enough to clean out the catalytic converter. And, you know, I know that it's using that second O2 sensor to determine the efficiency of the catalytic converter. And I've heard that if the catalytic converter even drops 5 or 10% in efficiency, that O2 sensor will pick it up and the check engine light will come back on. So you might not need to clean it much, but I'll tell you what, dude, I did not expect instant results. As I mentioned in my commentary, I thought I would wait a few days, reset the light, and see if it would stay off. But wow, I am kind of blown away. I am definitely kind of blown away. And it absolutely says to use Cataclean regularly, every few months or so. So I might, in a few months, run another bottle through there to see if it can pick off a little bit more out of that catalytic converter. But wow, that is a result. And I'll be honest, I am surprised. I did not expect that Cataclean to really do anything. And right now, I have no check engine light. If you want to pick up Cataclean, I guess it's getting my endorsement. I'll put a link to it in the description below. Peter Von Panda, out.